Welcome to Sports Talk with Steve Jones, the daily talk show with the voice of Penn State football and men's basketball. You never know what special guest may stop on by any given day. Now here's the man of the hour, Mr. Steve Jones.
Great to have you with us on the show today. Welcome to Blue-White Game Overreaction Monday. It is very easy for me to be the person to sit there and say that because, as I tell people all the time, like Jack and I saw the other 14 practices. Well, so what you see on a given day in windy conditions is going to affect maybe something of what we see, and it's a day. It's a snapshot. It is, though, for all of you out there, the one snapshot you get. So I totally get that. Totally get that, because that's your I always go back to the story of Daryl Clark, Pat Devlin. And I remember Daryl Clark asking me maybe a couple weeks into the season, he says, Mr. Jones, where did you think I won the job? I said, after about the third spring practice, I could tell. I said, from that point on, I knew you were the starter. Because you could just see, the way he was throwing the ball, the command he had, the different things he brought to the table. It wasn't that Pat was doing anything wrong, but Daryl was better. Well, of course, what happened in the middle between that third or fourth practice and the second week of the season? The Blue-White game. Who put together a statistically fabulous Blue-White game? Pat Devlin. All right? And I was like, yeah, okay. I think Daryl was like 3 of 7. Something like that. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. No. I just kind of stood there and went, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the preseason, I went out and made a couple of speeches. And, I was talking about the quarterbacks. And, I got asked, I think it was up in Scranton, about how far ahead Pat Devlin was. I go, Pat Devlin's not ahead. Oh, how could he be? I watched the Blue-White game. I said, look, guys, I watched the other 14 practices. I said, and now the preseason to this point. I said, he's not ahead. I said, and that's not a knock on Pat. It's just that's how well Daryl played. I mean, Pat, Sunday morning from Jacksonville, then Wednesday was the coaches show. Thursday was quarterback club. Saturday was the game. Like, okay, so like exactly which major league game am I going to here? Right? And I've got stuff coming up. I've got to go to Newcastle on May 7th. I have to go to Philadelphia on May 9th. I have to go to New York on May 12th. A lot of major league games here to go to.
Yeah.
May 23rd and 24th, I'm in Columbus. Coaches versus Cancer is the 30th and 31st, right? There's a reception on the 30th and golf on the 31st. Then I have Special Olympics opening ceremonies on the 6th. Yesterday, I did the Special Olympics paternal run. I'll get to that in a second. Special Olympics opening ceremonies on the 6th. On the 7th is the start of the spike season. Then Terry Wilcox just asked me to be in a Youth Service Bureau golf tournament. So I got that. And then I got more spikes. And eventually I've got a golf outing in Selinsgrove. And Jack and I are doing a speech in Pittsburgh. So, yeah. So, like, going to Major League Baseball games? No. I don't usually have a lot of time to do it. I'm getting better about spreading my time out. which is fine. I did say when he asked me about the Youth Service Bureau thing, I said, hey, look, they're not asking me to MC the thing, are they? He goes, no. I said, okay. Now, yesterday, let's talk about yesterday for a moment, because they had between 2,500 and 3,000 participants. They ended up breaking $500,000, $500,000 in fundraising yesterday. And Super Turner and I were talking about this. Ironically, we were talking about this on the field after it was done. And James Franklin was there, and James was great. And the great people at Sheets, Adam Sheets was there. So she said the first year they did it, because this was the 15th year, they got $35,000. And I said to her, do you ever dream you get $500,000 in 1 year? She goes, no. Right. And, that's great. People love it. They get a chance to finish at the 50-yard line, run through the tunnel. And that's just one of the really cool things about it, that you can do something like that. And it's a great fundraiser. And then the summer games. And the summer games are happening this time. Last year, remember, they couldn't hold the summer games because of the wildfires in Canada, with the smoke.
Mm-hmm. Smoke, I remember that.
Yeah, and it was an incredible disappointment. But, it was the right thing to do. But it's great that that they have this back, they're able to do it. And I love the fact that they were able to raise that kind of money. It makes such a huge difference for everybody. Great moment for Tiger Woods. I know the tournament was one to forget. There were 60 players that made the cut. He finished 60th, by the way. But when he got to 18 yesterday, when he got to 16 yesterday, when he was done with the hole, he went over, and he spent a moment with Vern Lundquist, which was great. That he did that. Vern Lundquist has justifiably received a lot of praise this week for a great career. And one of the reasons that Vern Lundquist gets, first of all, he's done great work. And I was talking to Jack about this Saturday. I don't think a lot of people realize that when you watch the highlights of Super Bowl 13 and Jackie Smith, who's just a great tight end, mostly with the Cardinals, right? Drops the ball in the end zone, right? And I don't know what he says. He must be the sickest man in the world or whatever. He says something like that. That's Vern Lundquist. He was the Cowboys radio play-by-play guy at the time. And, he was with ABC for years. He then transitioned over. By the way, he got a start in Dallas. Well, he actually started in Davenport, Iowa. His father's a minister. And Vern figured out right away he didn't want to follow in Dad's footsteps. So he gets into radio. I think he started out in Davenport, Iowa, just across the river from Illinois. Went to Austin, finally gets to Dallas. And, of course, when you're early in your career, you have to do some things that, okay, you need me to do it, we'll do it. And he was the host of Bowling for Dollars. Goody. It's like Don Gillis up at Boston, Candlepins for Cash. It's great. And then, of course, he was the play-by-play voice of the Cowboys before Brad Sham. So Frank Lieber had been doing it. Awesome. One of the best ever. Vern Lundquist, then Brad Sham. The Cowboys have had a pretty good run with their radio play-by-play guys.
Yeah.
And Vern did that, and then he gets to ABC, then CBS. You heard him on the SEC for years, the NCAA basketball tournament. and, of course, the Masters. What's really cool about Vern Lundquist that should be a lesson for anybody in our business is that he is exactly the same off the air as he is on the air. Right? That big laugh. I'm talking about just like when I've been around him. That big laugh. Oh, and you want to talk about somebody who has the ability to tell stories. Oh, the stories. Right? I mean, it's great to be sitting in a group or even just with a couple of people, and he's telling stories. Right? Vern's shoes, and of course we'll see more Brad as time goes because CBS will go all in now with the Big Ten. They don't have to split with the SEC any longer. But great pros that are the same people off the air as they are on. It's a lesson that you should pick up on.
Tell ya. That's why I have a future in office.
You're so different off.
Hail to the chief is playing as we speak.
You're so different off the air. It's unbelievable. Oh, goodness. But you know, and you got to have fun with the job. It's like,
yeah, absolutely. You got to be yourself in a lot of ways. 1,000%.
On Saturday, like for example, like I mentioned, I was in Jacksonville, Daytona Beach, right? So I wasn't at Saturday's practice. Gee, I wonder why. And so Jack's telling a story about something he saw on Saturday. He says, "Why you were sunning yourself down in Florida?" But that's right. It's just people, right? Just having fun. It's not all that serious. Now, the business is serious.
Sure.
What you're trying to do is serious. But it doesn't mean that over how many hours on the air you're serious the entire time. It's 3rd down and 8. Okay, everybody, tense up. But a tribute to Vern, who's earned every wonderful tribute he has received. Because, again, he is a beloved figure because he is no different off as he is on. He gives everybody time.
Yeah.
He gives everybody time, and it's not forced. He just enjoys it. But he's 83 now. And he knows he can put his feet up and watch somebody else. See your Eagles.
What, Eagles?
Yeah, your Eagles. Extending Devontae Smith.
Which I think was huge. Because
through the 2028 season.
Yeah.
It's $75 million, $51 million guaranteed. They also exercised their 5th-year option on him, which will pay Smith a salary of $16 million in 2025.
I think there's a good chance he is a number 1 receiver, and I think there's a good chance he's going to be a number 1 receiver in Philadelphia very, very soon. How many years A.J. Brown has left in Philly, I'm not so sure.
No, well, see, this is... Okay, you want to know why Gettleman is out as the GM of the Giants? There's a long list, but it's that draft right there.
Uh-huh.
Where they're sitting in the spot, everyone's pretty sure they're going to pick Devontae Smith. All right? The Cowboys are picking in front of them. The Eagles are picking in back of them. So Howie Roseman, to his credit, swaps with the Cowboys. Okay? So they take Devontae Smith. I'm sitting there at home saying, great, take Micah Parsons. Who cares? You'll find there's a billion receivers out there. Right?
That's why you don't pay $125 million a year. Yeah.
Right. But there's a billion receivers out there. Okay.
Absolutely.
And I said, great, take Micah Parsons. This is great. This is going to work out perfectly. And he trades down. What? I'm sitting there like, trade down? Wait, trade down for what? Take Micah Parsons. Nope, he doesn't. I think he traded with the Bears. I don't even remember who the Bears picked. But the Cowboys then picked Micah Parsons. He takes Kadarius Toney. Like, what are you... Like, the second you drive, I'm like, oh, what are you doing here? This guy is not going to help you at all. I would like to point out that he did not help the Giants at all.
No.
But that's how you're out of this game, right? Smith was the guy they were going to get. That's fine. It would have been a great pick for him to make. But Roseman jumped, got him, and then went from there. Okay? But instead of shifting gears, going, the heck with this, we're taking Micah Parsons. No, he trades down. Like,
Bears. That the draft the Bears took Fields. I think it was
Fields. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, what are you doing? Okay, this is Patriots Day.
It is Boston Marathon. Yes, sir.
Yes, the Boston Marathon's being run today, and it also means the Red Sox play an 11 a.m. game, and they're playing the Guardians, and it's scoreless in the top of the second. It's also not only Patriots Day, but everybody is wearing 42. This is Jackie Robinson Day. I believe that the great Bob Costas is the one that really framed it exactly the way it should be framed. Was Jackie Robinson the greatest player of all time? No. Was Jackie Robinson the most important player of all time? Yep.
Absolutely.
Okay. And the fact that Jackie Robinson was a great player, and he was. He's not the greatest of all time, but he was a great player.
He's a great player, fast player. Yep.
Great player. I mean, second base, first base, right? Hit with power, speed.
Yep.
Yeah. You know, could field, would do what people asked, what they needed. Hey, you need me to play first base? I'll play first base. Need me to play second base? I'll play second base. To put up with everything he did, especially with your people in Philadelphia. They were not nice to him.
No, they weren't.
No. Not only that, but the manager wasn't.
No, they certainly weren't. And you watched the movie 42. I think they show that. They show a big part of that. And absolutely.
And ignorance is hard to overcome.
Yeah.
Yet through level of play, attitude, he overcame some of it. Okay, some of it. When you're just beginning, it's not like, suddenly in 1948, everybody's fine. No.
They weren't fine with Bill Russell in the 60s.
It takes a long time, a long process, but somebody has to set the tone to overcoming ignorance. And Jackie Robinson did that, both on and off the field. So today, after Chase Elliott ended a 42 race winless skid, they celebrate 42 in a baseball field.
How about it?
Okay. The unfortunate part is that he fought all of this, and then diabetes got him.
Yeah.
His last public appearance was the '72 World Series in Cincinnati. I remember watching it. Like, wow. It's like, and then diabetes got him. Remarkable. But they're all wearing 42 today. And
Rachel, I think, is 101, right?
Rachel Robinson's 101. And believe me, she is a critical part of this entire story.
Sure is.
She is critical to all of this. Is it eradicated? No. But have the steps been made that have been just, the country is different today than it was in 1947.
Right.
Right? It's just different. The country is different today than it was in 1964. I mean, when I went to when Penn State went to Auburn, Penn State stayed in Montgomery. So I went on the walk, right, because we got there early. And I took the afternoon and I went to the Rosa Parks Museum. I went to the Freedom Riders Museum that's in Montgomery. Took the time to go to it. Because again, I always feel it's important to be in a quest to learn more. When the football team went to Ebenezer Baptist Church and to Dr. King's grave and Coretta Scott King's grave, again, same thing. And, just sitting there in the pews listening to the guide talk about Dr. King and his father in that church. And this is the old one, the new one's across the street where Senator Raphael Warnock is the pastor, I believe. That's across the street, the new one. This was in the old one. You always have to be there in a quest to learn something, to me. Yeah, I just don't think you can just sit there and status quo. And history is a great teacher. You should always be aware of what had happened before you. And so you see that, and now, you combine that with sports and Jackie Robinson. All right. On this particular day? Yeah. And that's, yeah. Now, I know you're just kind of locked in on the 49ers, but, that's okay. You scare me.
Yeah, I think the ironic part of it also is that with Jackie Robinson, I think the last guy to wear number 42 is one of the classiest players that ever set foot in baseball.
Yeah,
and Mariano Rivera.
Yeah. I also find it ironic that they finally won the World Series in '55.
Mm-hmm.
She's part of that team. Eventually, the Dodgers trade Jackie Robinson to the Giants. He goes, "No, I'm done." He said, "No, I'm finished. I'm not going to the Giants." Because people don't realize Jackie Robinson got traded at the end. He just never played for the Giants. He goes, "Nah, I'm not doing that. We're done." Yeah. And he was at UCLA. Oh, what a great football player. Oh, terrific basketball player. Baseball, track. Baseball wasn't his best sport.
There's a couple players who ended up baseball players that I look at and think, man, they could have been stars in a lot of other places. Dave Winfield, I think, was another one.
Winfield was drafted.
Phenomenal.
He was drafted in Major League Baseball. Yep. He was drafted in the NFL. He was drafted in the NBA. Winfield was a terrific player at the University of Minnesota. Terrific player. Let's see now. NBA draft lottery. It's now set. All right. Best odds. I know you're shocked. The Detroit Pistons.
I can't believe that. Hey, they went on a winning streak to end the season. I'm proud of them.
They have a 14% chance of getting the top pick. Same with the Washington Wizards. All right. The two of them combined to win 29 games. Charlotte and Portland each won 21 games. Oh, I can't believe with Victor Wembanyama, San Antonio won 22 games. I thought just getting him, they'd win 60. The Celtics went from 29 wins to 61 with Larry Bird.
Yeah.
What about Wembanyama? I watch Sports Center. He's like 5,000 highlights of a team that never wins. Toronto, Memphis, Utah, Brooklyn, Atlanta. See, the Hawks were just bad enough to get into the lottery this time, as opposed to being just good enough to make the playoffs and then drafting 16th. Yeah. So there you go. And by the way, of course, now with Memphis is Lamar Stevens.
Mm-hmm. You're going to get a healthy John Morant back, too, assuming he can behave himself. He's without question, showed a lot when he came back this year until he got hurt again.
By the way, just so you're wondering, with Memphis, Lamar averaged 11.5 points, 5 rebounds per game. I mean, Lamar did pretty well because what happened was when he was traded for Xavier Tillman, guess what happened? Lamar got more of an opportunity to play.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because he got more of an opportunity to play, he actually played really well. Not surprised, but, he played 19 games for Memphis, had a couple of starts, averaged 23 minutes a game with Memphis this year. So really, really good. Now, of course, it's going to pay off in them getting a higher draft pick. Yeah, where's your guy Morant here? Let me see here. He's your guy, right?
Oh, yeah.
He played 9 games.
Well, yeah, he didn't play much. When he played, though, he was effective. I think he's, again, if he can behave himself and he can stay healthy, I think the Grizzlies are.
Everything with you is predicated with your favorite players. Always starts with if they can behave themselves.
Well, Ja Morant has not behaved himself very well these last 2 years.
25 points, 5.5 boards a game. All right, for your guy.
He's
5
assists. Very effective player.
Yeah. Again, same story, and 8 assists, by the way. Same story with everybody you follow. If they can stay out of trouble.
Behave themselves.
Okay, most people we preface with if they can stay healthy.
Yep.
Your favorite players are always
if they can stay healthy. Well, Moran is also if he can stay healthy, but if he can behave himself too. He didn't behave himself the last 2 years.
But again, this is the same story with all the people you love. You bring up like 20 names all the time, and every time I turn around, I'm looking at the legal blotter. Like, all right. So, and then there's this story. The Arizona Coyotes.
Yeah, about it.
Have not paid their road hotel bills in months. Really? The players have now been told they're going to Salt Lake City. In fact, they have set up a day for the team to go to Salt Lake City so the players can then look for homes. I mean, this is how far they are with this. Now, what they're going to be called, I don't know. Here, I can't believe that this is a problem. That somebody said, well, they probably have to call them Utah because Salt Lake City's too long. What? You can't put SLC on a uniform? I mean, come on.
You put diagonal if you have to.
Like they said, look at the Vegas Golden Knights.
Put a logo.
It's the Vegas Golden Knights. They want it to be 3 names. Instead of the Las Vegas Golden Knights, they're the Vegas Golden Knights. Like, what are we doing here?
That's the biggest concern of the team. That's you're in good shape.
But it looks like, they had put in for an expansion franchise. Now it looks like they're just going to get a franchise.
Mm-hmm.
The owner of the Coyotes says that they had a meeting coming up on June 20th about an arena. And the NHL is just like, we're not waiting on this stuff. Go from there. Okay, now, Pirate fans, I know you're wondering about Paul Skeens. Okay. 3 starts, untouchable with Indianapolis. I mean, he's at AAA right now. 9 1/3, has not allowed a run. He has struck out 19. He has walked 2, and in the 9 1/3, he's given up 4 hits. Oh boy, he's just sitting there and making them wonder, what's going on here? What do we do with him? And then, down at Altoona, just south of here, Bubba Chandler, 2 starts, 7 1/3, giving up just 2 runs on 4 hits. He has struck out 10, walked 4. I mean, these are your guys. Oh, let's look up your Phillies here. Let's see.
On Bryce Harper, I don't have.
Well, no, it says right here, straight out. It comes right out of the gates. Says Phillies have no prospects. All right, so
when they do, they don't play well anyway. So.
High A jersey, sure. Justin Crawford, 269 average, 7 games. Gabriel Winkuntz Jr., Double A Reading, hitting 238. These are their top prospects, like 238, really. Okay, Aiden Miller with Low A Clearwater has 5 stolen bases. I mean, this is not like Paul Skeens here. Okay? And Mick Abel has allowed 5 earned runs and 6 2/3 at Lehigh Valley. He struck out 7, walked 6. Like, your prospects are doing okay, those are your top prospects.
They at one time had 3 first-round picks and didn't do anything with them.
Meanwhile, let's get back to Paul Skeens. It's bang, bang, bang. 19 strikeouts, 2 walks.
It's going to be assuming weather permits, coming up about 9 days from now, there's going to be a darn good one in Medlar Field. West Virginia comes here with J.J. Weatherall going to be here.
Yep. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too.
It was an unprecedented final day of the regular season of the NBA. Over here in the back, does anybody even know that it was the final day of the season? No. The Knicks, though, ended up with the number 2 seed, which is, for Kyle, a thrill and a half.
That's a thrill and a half, but you draw potentially the hottest team in basketball if those Sixers win. Bucks, on the other hand, draw the Pacers with the 3 seed. Did they sure they wanted the 2 or they want the 3?
Right. And then the number 1 seed in the West is the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah. People are talking about MVP. I think you just named 2 teams that, to me, would have the front runners if I was voting for MVP. I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's had an incredible year, and I think Jalen Brunson's had an incredible year.
Yeah. So's Anthony Edwards.
Yeah. Yep.
So, in Oklahoma City is the youngest team in the history of the NBA to earn a number 1 seed. Now, they beat the Dallas Mavericks yesterday, 135-86. We're not going to let this pass without mentioning the passing of Kathy Drysdale.
Oh, absolutely.
Kathy Phillips comes to Penn State. She scored over 1,200 points in her career. Was part of that team that achieved the first ever number 1 ranking. Was just a terrific player.
Real was.
Rebounding, scoring, just smart. And then she worked with the Sixers for years. And so she brought that pro background with her when she then came back and took her job here at Penn State, where she worked the last 13 years.
Yeah, Lady Lions.
And was just great at her job. And all of us just one of those people who just love being around.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I remember when the word came down that nearly 2 years ago, not quite, she was cancer-free. Like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Because she'd fought so hard.
Absolutely.
And then when it came back, you're like, oh, you got to be kidding me. Her son, Derek, is just a terrific guy. You want to talk about a mom that did a great job of raising her son.
Sure did.
Right? I remember him as a little kid running around in there. Well, a little kid, I mean, Derek's 20 now.
Yeah.
But, he was like 7 or 8 the first time I saw him. It was like, oh, okay. And I think in something like this, in something that is tragic, and this is tragic. I mean,
sure is.
Kathy was 53 and just beloved. What are the positives you can take out of that? She fought this long enough where she got to see her son be one of the top high school players in the country. She fought this long enough to see her son then go to Duke and play 1 year at Duke. She fought this long enough to see him enter the NBA draft. She fought it long enough to see him be the 12th overall pick in the entire NBA draft, and she fought it long enough to watch him play in the NBA with the Dallas Mavericks, because eventually she went down to Dallas and was staying down there. right? She at least got to see all of that, right? Got to see all of that. Now, obviously, there's a lot more life she could have lived. We all know that. But at least she saw some of that. And at least Derek will always know that his mom saw him achieve that. Now, he has a lot more to achieve in his career. And he's going to have a nice, long career in the NBA.
But great. I remember opening night. Had just a great game.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Yep. But she at least got this. He'll always have the knowledge of knowing that his mom at least saw him accomplish that.
Absolutely.
That means something. That means something. In 10, 20, 30 years from now, at least he'll know that she saw him accomplish that, as much as he's going to miss her. And we're all going to miss her.
Absolutely.
It's like, now, the services are all in Dallas, by the way. I think they want to say they're in Mansfield, just outside of Dallas, I think. But that's where all the services are going to be, down there. Not going to be back here. So, from what I understand. But I just want to make sure that we pass that along before it's, all said and done. So Orlando is going to be at Cleveland in the opening round. Yeah. We'll transition back to that. Indiana's at Milwaukee. The Sixers will host Miami in the play-in tournament, so they'll lose that. Excuse me.
Wait, Miami's playing?
Miami came out of this exact same spot a year ago. And
they did and went to the finals. Yeah.
So
Sixers can do the same this year.
Okay, no. Miami was in the 8th spot last year.
Yeah. They're going to the finals immediately.
Yeah. Okay.
Sixers haven't lost since Embiid's come back.
The winner will get New York. Well, no, but have you seen his playoff numbers?
No, I've seen them. I don't know. I'm not sure they disappear usually.
I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, in all seriousness, I mean,
it's going to define us. You hate to say stuff like that defines your career, but it does.
Well, but again,
it's
everybody wants to blame Ben Simmons, blame Ben Simmons, right?
And he was bad. I don't fully excuse him, but Embiid was.
That's your star. Your star is doing nothing out there in the biggest moments.
Yeah. Game 7, especially last year.
The Celtics
they're going to be tough.
Are the 1 seed. The Knicks are the 2 seed. Meanwhile, the Lakers, Pelicans, Kings, Warriors, that's the matchup on Tuesday. So let's see, the Celtics get what? I guess they get the lowest seed remaining between the Bulls and the Hawks, right? Whomever comes.
Yeah, they'd get the 8th seed. Yeah,
they get the 8th seed. Okay. And
the Sixers win. I think that keeps them 7th seed.
Thunder get the play-in team. Clippers, Mavericks. Excuse me. T-Wolves, Suns, Nuggets get the Pelicans, Lakers winner. Great. And the Knicks get the Sixers Heat winner. All right. So if the Sixers totally, completely luck out and win the first round, they'll lose in 4 straight to the Knicks.
4 straight to the Knicks. Knicks beat them. Knicks played them well in the regular season.
They don't have Julius Randle, though.
That's true.
I know, that's why I said
it. That's a big, absolutely a loss. Because you're gonna have inside. I think the Sixers got a lot better inside, even minus Embiid. You still have the guys that can attack the paint.
You make it too easy. That's true. Well, thank you.
We weren't lot.
Oh, man. Yeah. When's the WNBA draft? Is that tonight?
It's got to be pretty soon here. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay.
But you have a lot of talent. get him into that draft without question. I mean, it's clear as day who number one's going to be, but you also have a couple others that are going to be.
No, I think that'll work out great. I mean, Angel Reese with the Indiana Fever looks good. Oh, wrong person? No, okay, just checking.
Yeah, not quite. Yep, Monday at 7:30. It's tonight. Yep,
it's tonight. There we go. ESPN will make a big deal out of it, and then we'll go from there. Very nice. Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. You're all set. I mean, yeah.
right.
Yeah. Again, I put you into the transfer portal, just so you know.
That's all right.
I know you have to fill out the paperwork. We filled it out for you.
Fudge the signature on it and everything.
Well, I mean, all we had to do was put an X.